If you're not rooting for Becca as the Bachelorette, you're missing out. So far, her season has been hilarious, heartwarming, and yeah, kind of hot. We're just crossing our fingers that what happened to her before doesn't happen to her again. But what did happen? We're breaking down the full details of Becca and Arie's relationship in The Drama Report. Becca and Arie first met back in late September when his season of The Bachelor started filming. When Becca stepped out of the limo, she introduced herself and had Arie get down on one knee, only to coach him to ask her, "Are you ready to do the damn thing?" The answer for both of them was a big yes, and then they proceeded to play dress up with Rachel Zoe, get some Neil Lame diamond party favors, make out in Italy, go home to meet Becca's family, and then jet off to Peru. It was basically a perfect romance, except for the part where Arie was dating a dozen other girls at the same time. After Becca and her man finally got to spend a night together alone in the fantasy suite, things started to fall apart. Becca's ex Ross showed up to get her back with a proposal of his own, one that she quickly turned down. Twitter may have fallen in love, but Becca wasn't about that supposed grand gesture. "I stand by my decision to not accept an unhealthy relationship back in my life," she tweeted. "Self-love, mothers." In mid-November, it was finally time for Arie to get down on one knee. But first, he had to say goodbye to someone. And that someone was Lauren B. in what came down to a game-time decision the morning of his planned proposal. "I wanted it so bad for us," he told her, but he just couldn't go through with it. He walked her back to her car, kissed her, and said, "I love you too," in lieu of goodbye. And then Becca showed up and Arie told her, "My love for you is unmeasurable. I thought about you and our kids together. I thought about us when we were old. And I choose you today, but I choose you every day from here on out." But it would only be a few days before he changed his mind. Usually, the drama ends in the final episode, with a little spilling over into the After the Final Rose special. But for Becca and Arie, the real drama was just getting started. After finishing filming, they were able to spend a few happy couple weekends together in December. But by the end of the month, Becca noticed that Arie was still paying plenty of attention to his ex, Lauren. He admitted that he still had feelings for her, and because Becca's basically the nicest, coolest, most understanding girl ever, she was like, "I get it, it's hard, let me help you move forward." She was cool with Arie getting the closure he needed. After all, they were still talking about moving in together and buying a house, so she thought all was good. And yet, on New Year's Eve, Arie slid into Lauren's Instagram DMs. They agreed to talk on the phone, and the next day, he admitted that he still had feelings for her. A week later, Becca found out about the call, and just a few days after that, Arie was flying out to see her. They had another happy couple weekend planned, but that plan was all but ripped up the second Arie stepped into the house. We all know what happened next. After all, it was touted as the most dramatic moment in Bachelor history, and completely unedited. Arie tried to break the news gently at first, but there was no nice way to say, "Actually, I made a mistake when I proposed to you, because I'm really in love with the girl who I told you I couldn't see a future with. I just picked you because it seemed like it made more sense." We're paraphrasing, but the actual quotes were pretty insane. "The more I hung out with you, the more I felt like I was losing the possibility of maybe reconciling things with Lauren. The further along we got, the further I started drifting away from the possibility of trying it again with her." "Well, yeah, because that's a normal relationship," Becca countered. "That's what should have been happening." Finally, Arie left and flew right to Virginia to get Lauren back. Whatever doubts Lauren had about their breakup and relationship had clearly already been hashed out on the phone, because the second she opened the door, she was jumping into his arms. "I want you back," Arie said. "Well, you got me. Duh." After the finale aired in March, Becca and Arie met up in person for the first time in months to film After the Final Rose. And though she called him on all of his BS, ultimately they were able to be civil. Just in time for Arie to get down on one knee to give Lauren B the televised proposal he mistakenly gave to Becca last time. That's gotta hurt. But that same night, Becca was announced as the Bachelorette and got to meet her first few guys. Think it's love? We'll have to wait and see. If anyone deserves it, it's Becca. But her journey won't be without plenty of drama of its own. But that's a drama report for another time.